does any of this that I'm about to share with you make any sense? Now, yes, the Get Geezer channel is about primarily delivery and transport, ownership and operation of a sprinter/cargo van, and the gig economy. But I've also hinted recently that, hey, I'm about more than just that, and that I may branch off into some other things on this channel. So here's one that I'm going to post to you because, hey, you may be a homeowner. You may own property in which you may have renters for your passive income, and you may deal with renters in ways that can be extremely frustrating. So here's the story, and it's been in the news throughout the month of December. In fact, I noticed a spate of articles related to this earlier this week. So, an Atlanta area homeowner was arrested after calling the police about someone occupying their home, and that person is not a tenant of their home.
He wants you to come out. He wants you to come out.
Y'all have to go out.
He wants you to come out.
No, he wants you out.
No, he wants you out. Come on in.
Caught on camera, a Georgia homeowner confronts an alleged squatter and is eventually arrested after attempting to get back inside her own home.
Stouffer.
That alleged squatter remains in the Clayton County house more than 3 months after an eviction battle began. Channel 2 consumer investigator Justin Gray is here now. And Justin, the homeowner is the one facing criminal charges here, not the squatters.
George, the Clayton County homeowner says she showed up to the house because she thought the alleged squatter had finally moved out after losing a court judgment. Instead, the Clayton Sheriff's Department says that homeowner performed an illegal eviction.
Now, people who live or occupy a property illegally are known as squatters. They don't have any documentation that says they have permission to be at the property. There's no rental agreement. They don't pay rent. They may or may not have electricity. Yet often they are afforded the same protections as someone who is a lawful resident or the supposedly lawfully legal landowner or landlord. Now, most recently, this Atlanta homeowner, Miss Loletha Hale, was arrested after attempting to have a squatter removed from her property. Mind you, the state of Georgia has passed legislation in 2024 that made it a crime for being a squatter. And also within that legislation, it's supposed to be easier to have the squatters removed from their property.
Georgia's new tougher penalties against squatters are now the law of the land.
The new law comes after a series of Channel 2 Action News investigations exposed the loophole squatters were taking advantage of. Now, consumer investigator Justin Gray is looking into how local police departments are using their new powers to criminally charge squatters.
Karen, we've been reaching out to police departments, solicitors general, and local magistrates about this to see if criminal citations are now being written to squatters. Many of the departments tell us they are still trying to figure out how all of this is going to work, but South Fulton has already created a special task force just to go after squatters, armed with the authority of this new law.
I know everybody thinks you can go in the house and go out and sit there. That law changed the other day. That law changed the other day.
When police officers knocked on the door of this South Fulton home this month, armed with new powers to cite squatters criminally on the spot, the suspected squatters ran out the back door.
All these fake leases, and I got receipts for this, and I rented this. No. That's over with.
So we're basically putting these squatters on notice. The laws change.
Y'all squatting in my house.
It was a very different scene earlier this spring when police were called to Paul Callan's DeKalb County home.
They'll break in your house and then use the law to stay in there.
Where is it? You had the lease, man? Don't worry about that.
Yeah, bro, she got a full lease.
Police body camera video was rolling as officers were handed what they suspected was a fake lease.
So you got somebody with a fake lease?
Yeah, I think the lease is fake, but, it's no way I can prove it.
So the officers just left, told Callens and the suspected squatter it's not a criminal matter.
This will take time. Like, we can't put you out because we're not here for that. And he have to deal with it with law courts and so like that. They shouldn't be in there for, a minute. They should be, out immediately.
Earlier this month, Loletha Hale called Clayton County Sheriff's, which is outside the Atlanta area, after she noticed Sakemeyia Johnson inside the property that her mother owned. This is not the first incident involving Hale and Johnson. According to media reports, Hale had initiated legal action against Johnson earlier this year. In that court case, a Clayton County magistrate judge ruled that Johnson did not meet the definition of a squatter because she was related to a previously evicted tenant's partner, Nakia Crouse.
But a Clayton County magistrate judge ruled under the new Squatter Reform Act, Sakemeyia Johnson did not qualify as a squatter because she is related to a previous evicted tenant's partner.
I was written a citation about a lawful squatter and an order. A judge signed the order denying it, saying that I wasn't a squatter.
That started a multi-month court battle, filings and appeals. Johnson even filed for bankruptcy, listing Loletha Hale as her only creditor. But November 18th, the magistrate judge ordered a final judgment in Hale's favor.
So that implied that Johnson still had the legal right to be there. Hale claimed she had no knowledge of Johnson or the former tenant's partner, nor having had any contractual relationship with these people. Ms. Hale eventually received a ruling in her favor back in November. When she went to the property to initiate cleaning and painting, according to what she told media, and that's under the presumption that Johnson was no longer there, the new locks were busted. When confronted by Hale, Johnson told police that Hale had intimidated her into moving out, adding that Hale was accompanied by a man. Johnson provided police a cellular phone video of Hale threatening her. She also claimed to have locked the door. Hale and her male acquaintance forced their way in and commenced removing Johnson's items. And Miss Hale had called the police about the matter.
I was pulled up out of nowhere, and she had this guy with him, and I locked the door. I locked the screen door, and he forced himself in, telling us to get out.
Joining me now is Loletha Hale. She is in charge with criminal trespass. She's outraged that she spent a night in jail while someone slept in her home. Ms. Hale, I have to tell you, first, I was really excited to speak to you to tell your story here because I can only imagine how frustrated you were behind all of this. How did the alleged squatter actually get into your house to begin with?
Well, on this particular occasion, we cleaned up. We spent the entire day, the day before, cleaning out the house because it was trashed. And we thought she was gone. And the next morning we went back to paint to get the house ready for to be rented out. And she was there. She had broken the lock off.
Ms. Hale, I can only imagine your frustration. Your first thoughts were, oh, heck no, I'm sure.
Right. I'm like, I'm just not believing this, that she had the audacity to break the lock, to re-enter my home.
Now, how have police helped you since all of this started, and where are you now with everything?
They have not been of any help. The local law enforcement nor the local courts have been much of any help.
They've been squatting, and if they have to get somebody killed, they'll do it.
Calm down.
From Clayton County Sheriff's body camera, you can see the homeowner, Loletha Hale, taken away to jail, not the alleged squatter at this Livingston Drive home.
She's going to be charged with criminal damage to property for all of your belongings. Criminal trespass as well for her coming in here.
I spent the night on a mat on a concrete floor in deplorable conditions while this woman, this squatter, slept in my home.
Moreover, Hale needed a writ of possession and removal by Clayton County so that she could evict Johnson legally. Ms. Hale said she'd been waiting for that document for several weeks. According to media reports, the Clayton County magistrate judge said the delay in the signing of the writ was due to Johnson filing for bankruptcy, which paused the proceedings, and Johnson had listed Loletha Hale as her sole creditor. So here's a rundown of some of the legal facts about Georgia's squatter rights, squatter laws. Previously, squatter issues were considered a civil matter. Now they may be a true legal matter. In Georgia, a squatter must meet 5 tests before they can claim ownership through a term called adverse possession. They must live on the property for at least 20 years without interruption. The time period is reduced to 7 years if, according to the legislation, there are defects in the written document, so that there may be issues with the written document. The squatter knows they are occupying the property against the will of the rightful owner. In other words, they know exactly what they're doing. The squatter doesn't conceal that they are living there. So they're saying, yes, I'm there. And yes, I know that I shouldn't be there. And the squatter hasn't moved away, which is more than likely. And the squatter is there presently. The squatter is present physically on the property. Now, in most cases, the squatter has not met the time definition, so that means that they've not met all the tests to have been defined as a squatter, at least legally. Now, according to the Squatter Reform Act that Georgia passed early this year, legal landlords can have a squatter removed if the squatters are issued a criminal citation and if they fail to present a lease to the court within 3 days. If they have presented a lease to the court has 7 days to determine whether the lease is valid. If the lease is determined to be invalid, the case goes from a misdemeanor to a felony. The removal process, at least in the courts, take place before a non-jury magistrate court. Squatters can face legal penalties like arrest, fines, and jail up to a year, or a writ of possession and removal. Also, neighborhoods and homeowner associations can also contact the police about suspected squatters. I ask you again, as I did in the onset, does this make any sense? How would you like to be arrested when you're trying to remove somebody from your property? So that's all I have to share for this particular segment of the Gig Geezer. If you like the content that's been provided in this segment or in any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome the comments in the section below. I'm in Wood Lane. As always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.